Welcome to Screen Riot. This week's movie is Minority Report, an action film from 2002. This episode will contain major spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, it's available to stream on AMC Plus or to rent on all the major streaming services. So go check out the movie first and then come back to the podcast because this is Screen Riot. Hey everybody, and welcome to the show. This is Screen Riot, and I'm your host Justin, and alongside me are co-hosts Eddie, Kyle, and John. And like I said at the very beginning, we're taking a look at Minority Report from 2002. It's rated PG-13. It has a runtime of 2 hours and 25 minutes long, and it was directed by Steven Spielberg. So if you haven't seen the movie, it's basically about Tom Cruise, who plays John Anderton, who is the police chief at a future. I think it takes place in like 2054 actually, and he's the police chief at a division called Precrime, where the use of these three individuals who are able to see murders before they happen, and it's all up to these pre-crime detectives to figure out exactly where and how it's going to happen and to stop the crime before it happens.
You pronounced slavery really weird. You said the use of but I mean kidnapping, slavery, like there's definitely abduction, like it's not just use of. I mean, like there's definitely like, you know, human trafficking happening in this movie, and then it's like it's socially acceptable human trafficking. It's government sponsored.
We keep them sedated.
Exactly.
It's like they have to be sedated.
It's actually eminent domain.
Yeah, now you sound like the Chinese trying to say that the Uyghurs are just extra workers out in Western China.
Eminent domain. Anyway.
I just think it's strange. I just think it's strange that's accepted in this movie.
The one thing that I really would like to do or like to have from these precogs is the ability to actually zoom in on like license plates and newspaper clippings from my dreams, because every dream that I have, it's very, very foggy and not clear. That might just be me. Who knows?
No, I mean,
but
I'm
also not hopped up on opium or something.
Milk water or whatever that was.
Milk water?
Yeah, isn't that what they said? It was some kind of.
I thought that's what they were floating in.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. And I don't understand how they can literally live in there and not be a raisin.
No, it's a science fiction movie.
It's milk water. It's actually hydrating their skin.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that what it's doing?
Yeah.
It's got aloe in it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like pickled.
So hold on. Yeah. So that's the part you guys have a problem with in this movie, like not the fact that these three.
No, that's just the first part we have a problem with.
Yeah, that's just one of many things.
I feel like you guys have
ending the show.
Down.
See, this is the beginning of the show. This isn't the ending.
Gotcha.
Of the show.
Gotcha. Okay.
We still have a lot to talk about. I'm sure Eddie has plenty to talk
about. I was about to say, Eddie. Yeah. So, what are your beefs?
I just want to.
It's easier to
start off real quick, though. I just want to start off real quick. Any movie that I can watch Colin Farrell get his ass kicked, I'm in.
Do you not like Farrell's not that bad?
Yeah, I was about to say I like Colin Farrell in this. Actually,
he's annoying on screen to me. I mean, I'm not saying his movies are bad. I'm just saying that they would be better without him in them.
Okay,
you're saying.
I'm gonna say this. Colin Farrell has a problem picking movies. Like a lot of the movies Colin Farrell picks are not good movies. Like Total Recall, the redo, whatever the hell that was. Yeah, that was awful. It was just an awful movie, right? So it's not so much Colin Farrell's fault that the movie sucked. It's just that the movie was crap. And I feel like a lot of the movies Colin Farrell's been in, that's kind of the way it goes. SWAT was okay. I mean, from an action adventure, turn your brain off kind of way, it wasn't a bad movie. I mean, it's got Samuel L. Jackson in it. You're not going very deep thinking on this.
I am kind of interested to see how he handles his role in the Batman, because he's playing the Penguin in the Batman.
Oh, is he?
Okay.
And I'm pretty interested to see that, because he's playing the whole like from what I gather, it's the Danny DeVito. So he's playing Oswald Cobblepot and the Penguin. So you're gonna see him as a human being instead of just a penguin.
I kind of want to see him like turn on his comedy act in that then and be like woo 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 woo, like, you know, like really turn on the like really like maybe like a 1960s version of the Penguin again. Like that would be really funny. Like the old Adam West days.
Channel Burgess Meredith.
Yeah, I mean, why not? You know, I don't know. The new Batman, I'm not excited to see in any way. Robert Pattinson's like my least favorite actor on the earth, so Right, he's right next to Robert De Niro. It's Robert De Niro, then Robert Pattinson in
So
alphabetical
it's
order.
just people with the name Robert. Then I'm assuming.
Pretty much, yeah. Anybody
I
named
thought it was
Robert
the Charlemagne
England.
guy.
Yeah, Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, I thought that.
I hate him too.
Oh
He would
my
be even
gosh.
higher.
I
if his
hate
name
a
was
lot of
Robert
people.
Chalamet.
Did we
Yeah.
watch Minority Report? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, that's the movie we watched.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah,
We
yeah.
should let's just do what
back
you
to
want to do,
Minority
Kyle.
Report.
You're
Okay,
right.
well,
Let's
all
just
right.
do what Kyle
I'm just
wants
trying to keep the show running.
So back to helping Colin Farrell with this. I do think that this is one of his better movies too, which is kind of
Really?
sad. Yeah,
It is sad.
yeah.
So you
One of
don't.
the- I mean-
Bad.
So you don't like
Huh?
Minority Report?
No, I do like Minority Report. I'm saying that Colin Farrell has a really shitty filmography. Like when you go through his list of all the movies he's been in, it's not very good. So I'm with John on. I mean, unfortunately, I don't think he's a bad actor. I just don't think he picks movies very well.
Mm.
This is one of the better movies he's been in.
Either that or he's just not hired for the better movies.
That's possible too.
Is
Yeah,
that-
maybe they look at him and they go, "Your English or your American accent, I mean, is just not good enough," and
I
then
have
they
a
pass
feeling-
over him.
I have a feeling Colin Farrell is probably like always like 4th or 5th or 6th on the list of like leading men, but
Probably.
the people that are like for 1st through 4th always one of them will say, "Okay, I'll do it," and it never gets down to him.
It's possible, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
dude, even on the IMDb list of actors, he's not even in the top billing in the row. Like I got Tom Cruise, Max von Sydow, whatever, Steve Harris. Who was Steve Harris in that movie? Jad?
Yeah, he's the dude that's Tom Cruise's right hand man in the simulation room.
Yeah,
Okay, fair
when he's
enough. In the
doing
simulation room, I gotcha. Neil McDonald, the blonde guy that was like on the crew.
Mhm.
Patrick Kilpatrick, who played Not. Jessica Capshaw, who was Ivana. Richard Coca, which was pre-crime cop.
See, on the desktop version of it has Tom Cruise, Colin Farrell. Like,
Okay. I'm on the app version. Maybe that's the reason, but he's not even in the top
I
15.
say I don't think we can go by this, guys,
Yeah.
because like in one tab for Minority Report, in the very first, whenever you look it up, it's Tom Cruise, Colin Farrell. But when you expand the cast list, it's Tom Cruise, but then Colin Farrell is
way down there.
15 down.
way down
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I don't
That
know.
might-
I don't know
that
how.
might
I don't know
actually
how
be
we
the
can
billing.
go by the top billing. I don't think it goes by billing.
Maybe not. Who knows?
Well, moving past Colin Farrell, which Tom Cruise did once he kicked his ass in the movie. I don't know. I mean, the movie, I think it kind of stands up as a science fiction film pretty well. I mean, it's got all the like most interesting things. You got a chase scene and all that stuff happening every 12 minutes. That's a requirement, I think, for an action science fiction movie. The science is kind of interesting without being totally rooted in science. it's kind of like it's science, right? Yeah, it's science. Like it's not 100%. Like nobody's really nailing it down. Unlike, well, Kyle might be, I guess. Kyle's gonna go to the science on this one.
Oh no, I kind of liked. I was explaining this to Justin a little bit. I kind of liked the. It was funny, not necessarily I liked, but you had these futuristic images like cars and all that kind of stuff. The interstates are crazy. They got the cars
Vertical.
that just drop like a
vertical
waterfall,
highways,
and
Yeah.
and then you have images of beautiful Washington D.C. suburbs that are 2002, and I'm like, okay, so in the future you still got the kids playing in the playground. They're not like attached to their devices.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the world to me that they built feels real. It feels lived in. It doesn't feel unattainable. It feels like even though it's futuristic, it's what 2056 or what
2054. Yeah.
2054. It feels like this is a world that can exist or that does exist.
Yeah, and this movie came out in
Um,
2002, and when I was watching it, I was picking out like all the stuff that they kind of predicted, like like for instance, the targeted advertising. That wasn't a thing back in 2002, but it's everyday life now.
John Anderton.
Yeah, John
you
Anderton.
look like you look like you need a Guinness.
Yeah.
Like, huh?
Maybe
Like,
I do
hey
need it.
Kyle, you look like you need a Guinness. I'm like, I totally agree. Thank you.
The road you're on, John Anderton, is the one less traveled. Make sure you follow
Good evening. You can move the old-fashioned
John Anderton.
Century 21 Styles provides gourmet cuisine. John Anderton, you could use a Guinness right about now.
But yeah, they did that. They had like the Google Glass thing, which
Yeah.
died, but it was a thing for a little bit. The whole motion sensor stuff with the hands, that wasn't around in 2002, but it's kind of commonplace now with Oculus and all that stuff.
Yeah, VR. Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing I did laugh at though was, even though they were kind of visionaries a little bit in that respect, one thing that did make me laugh around all this stuff is they didn't quite understand how the internet was really going to change things. Like
Mm-hmm.
like towards the very beginning, when the Mark guy is gonna kill his wife and, and her lover, they go, okay, I'm gonna scan for license plates, and Jad is on the other console, and he scans. He picks up like 6 license plates. He's like, bring them over here. So he takes over. He walks over. He grabs this giant, zip disk, basically puts it in his thing, copies it over. He takes it out and he moves over to the other console, puts it in, copies it over. I was
Yeah,
like, oh
original
man, he
Google
just
Glass.
yeah, he sneaker netted that 10 feet when he could have just airdropped it, in 2022.
Speaking of airdropping, like Apple, did you guys notice the iPhone charge sound that they used?
Mm-mm.
It was around like 29:54 or something like that. It was around 30 minutes exactly when Tom Cruise was going to the prison with all the capsule people and everything. But when he scanned his eye, the door unlock sound was actually the original charge sound when you plugged in an iPhone,
Oh,
which I
wow.
thought was kind of interesting just because this came out in 2002 and the iPhone came out in 2007.
Yeah, well, especially since Nokia spent like $2 million on product placement in the phone.
Oh, I know. It's like, well, they kind of guessed that one wrong. Like, Nokia's not going to be doing some fancy video calls here anytime soon, but we'll see. Who knows?
Well, so since this was our first Tom Cruise movie, or our first Tom Cruise entry into the Screen Riot archives, what did everybody think about Tom Cruise in this? This is kind of like 90s, early 2000s action Tom Cruise, right? With like Mission Impossible and stuff like that going on a little bit earlier than this. But what did you guys think?
Yeah, he was very Mission Impossible-esque. Like, he had that same hairstyle. He had, he was kind of lighter in the weight section, like not as buff like you see in other movies that he's in.
He did do
like
the Tom Cruise run with the.
Did he do it?
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing that.
Yeah,
he seemed to run slower than he does now.
Yeah, he definitely upped his game.
He's upped his run game a little bit.
But I don't know. I mean, he's Tom Cruise. He's Tom Cruise. I don't know.
He's Tom Cruise in everything. He's just like Samuel L. Jackson.
Well, so here's
where you're Tom Cruise. You know exactly what you're gonna get. You're gonna get Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
But here's where you're talking about, John. You're talking about Tom Cruise from 1996 when he did Mission Impossible on. He's got 2 modes. Okay, he's got frantic, like, oh God, something's wrong. Or he's got, I'm about to blow up, or I could blow up at any moment. See, any movie basically after Mission Impossible, he pretty much always seems to be on the edge of this, right? Like Mission Impossible 2, obviously, Vanilla Sky, Minority Report, Last Samurai, maybe, but Collateral, War of the Worlds. He's like frantic in 90% of the fucking movie, or he's like, oh God, something's wrong. It's gonna come. Like every fucking scene. You go back before that, though, before 96, he's got Interview with a Vampire when he's actually acting, when he's actually like putting, I mean, he's not great acting, but at least he's acting. The Firm, which was fucking fantastic. The lawyer movie, right? A Few Good Men. I can't handle A Few Good Men. It's a great ass movie. I'm sorry. Days of Thunder. I even like Days of Thunder. The NASCAR movie. Half the movie is watching people go in a fucking circle, and I'm still willing to give it a chance. Born on the 4th of July, Rain Man, Cocktail, Color of Money, Top Gun. Should I go on?
You're right. You're right.
He's so much better.
What I'm hearing is that the there's action Tom Cruise and drama Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Drama Tom Cruise is way better than action Tom Cruise.
Now, I do have
to Tom Cruise is still good.
Collateral, I think he's fantastic in.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
No. I still think he does good movies. I just, when I watch him, I'm like, okay, any minute now he's going to blow up. Like now, whenever I watch him, I'm like, any minute, like something's going to happen. He's about to break out in a run. Just wait a second. Like it just, the
true,
whole movie.
Collateral, he's kind of high strung because he's like, no, the bullets in the fall killed him.
Yeah.
He's just
exactly. I mean,
but he's
prior
still
to
calm and
19
collected though.
He is very calm in that. He's calm, but he's still like aware.
Yes.
well, it's calm, but it's like an unsettling calm. I would say in Jack Reacher, he's calm, but it's like you feel at any moment he could like grab somebody's thumb and like snap it off and be like, yeah, I meant to do that. Like just weird. It's a weird vibe that he's got after 1996. Before 1996, he's just a different actor. You know what I mean? Risky Business, at no point in time do I think he's about to break out into a run in Risky Business. And yet every movie after 1996, I'm like, he's going to just start running. No reason, just a fucking full out run right now. Like it's about to happen.
Well, as three of us are weapons guys or gun guys, the sonic shotgun,
It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
damn cool.
Pretty cool.
I
Pretty
mean,
damn
give it a
cool.
shot.
I want one of those.
Pretty cool.
I mean, though, I guess in the future that they're trying to go as non-lethal as possible. So that, I mean, unless that does some kind of internal damage to you getting hit by a sonic boom.
Well, I mean, I would
by a
imagine that
Fuster
the
dog.
sonic boom wouldn't hurt you, but the fall,
Yeah.
whatever you fall into, would
Like
hurt
slinging yourself up against a brick wall. That's probably gonna hurt.
you. Yeah,
You might feel it tomorrow. Yeah.
But not empty barrels in a car manufacturer. That's not gonna hurt.
No,
So
probably not.
let me ask you one question, by the way, too. Talking about this movie, obviously. Now you said that you don't like Colin Farrell, John, but were there any scene stealers for you?
In this movie,
Yes.
not really.
I mean, I always like Neil McDonough
I mean,
and everything that he's in.
yeah,
Neil
but I mean,
McDonough's the blonde guy, right? Okay.
Yeah.
To me, he wasn't in it enough to really. You could take his character.
Yeah, you could replace
take him out
yeah.
of the movie and put somebody else. Put John Goodman in, and it would still feel the same.
I liked everything that with director Lamar Burgess.
I was about to say that Max von
director guy.
Sydow.
Yeah.
I liked. He is a very good
like that
character actor. And I liked his role as eventually you find out that he's the bad guy.
Yeah,
kind of thing. Which actually
Yeah.
it was interesting. Well, go ahead. And where were you going with that, Eddie?
No, I like Max von Sydow, however they pronounce his name, and I like Peter Stormare, the doctor
I
who
forgot
did
Peter
the eye
Stormare
surgery.
was this. Yes.
Oh yeah.
I love that guy. Everything he's in, I'm like, fuck. I just love his attitude. Like when he played the devil in Constantine. Constantine was crap, but him playing the devil, I was like, oh, I'm down. Let's do this. Like when he showed up, I was like, this is so much better now.
It adds a point to Constantine, him being the devil.
Yeah. I just like him as an actor. He consistently steals scenes for me. I don't know why, but I like his attitude.
The his assistant's mole that stole the scene.
Ugh. Mole. What?
I thought her grabbing Tom Cruise's ass.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's pretty interesting, just because it's like, when are you going to have a chance to squeeze Tom Cruise's ass? It was probably not scripted.
She got paid to squeeze.
I know. It's like it was probably not scripted at all, and she was like, he's hopped up, and it was like, I got to take this chance.
It's for the
gotta do
film,
it.
Tom.
Well,
For the
film's
movies.
forever.
What wasn't scripted was the old lady who created Precog. I forget her character.
Oh
name.
yeah.
Her kissing Tom Cruise.
I was wondering.
That wasn't scripted.
Inside the precog, who predicted it? All you have to do is download it, darling.
Oh,
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah.
See, you got to take a chance.
Yep.
It's like when you're in the same room, it's just like,
All you gotta do.
If
is
I
just
ever
say-
meet Tom Cruise, I guess I'm throwing it down. Just to give it a chance.
I guess.
yeah, just say Zeno told me to.
Aunt May had to get her a kiss before the twister hit.
That's right. Oh,
Oh god, that's vile.
Hold on.
By the way,
So, what did you guys think of the story, the main
Loved
plot
it.
of
I
my
loved it.
report? Yeah, I think it's an interesting story.
Very strong. I think it's very strong, and I think it holds up.
yeah. Story's
Yeah.
nice. And I don't know, the pacing of the movie. It didn't feel like a 2.5-hour movie to me.
It felt a
Uh,
little long to me.
It started feeling long after the first ending.
Yes, that's
Yes.
what I was going to mention. That yes.
yep, yeah.
Where was that?
No,
That was when he was supposed to kill Crow.
Yeah, it kind of
But
wrapped
then
up
Kill
a
Crow.
little.
That right there could have been the ending of the film, and how I would have been happy. But yeah, it kept going for another 40 minutes.
Yeah, and the whole second ending, I guess we'll call it, because now we know what we're all talking about. It feels like it's interesting because it feels like an Agatha Christie novel, like
It was me the whole time. And she
yes,
unmasked herself. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would have gotten away with it. It wasn't for these damn precogs.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't get Agatha Christie. I get Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
Like he unmasked
These
him
damn
at the end,
teenagers in the pool.
Oh no, I mean like the whole filming style changes to me. The tone of the movie changes to like an Agatha Christie like murder mystery on the train kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I can see that.
Where the bad guy's being, not literally unmasked, but you're finding out who's the villain, and
well, it's like goaded into confessing.
yes,
Yeah, without knowing that he's confessing. That's the trick.
Which I think was intentional, because I was doing some reading and all of the precogs are named after mystery writers, and Agatha is after Agatha Christie, apparently.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay. Yeah, I don't mind the pacing of the movie overall, but once Agatha gets broken out and I got to deal with that lady's shitty acting, it makes the movie that much longer for me.
I don't think she had some shitty
it was-
acting. I don't think
I don't think it was
Agatha
bad.
was bad.
I just don't like her. It bothers me. She was the it girl for like 3 years, and most of the movies she was in I could do without. And this one I'm willing to like let it go, because they apparently just let her live in her own natural state. Because as far as I can tell, she's just a creature. But overall, I don't know. It just bothers. I don't like the way that she acts in the movie, and this constant screaming gets fucking old.
Yes.
Well, if you actually are in that mindset of I've already seen this murder happen,
Yeah.
in my dreams or in my head, and then I'm actually seeing it in real life, I'd probably have some issues mentally.
Yeah, and they kind of explore that when Tom Cruise first kidnaps her and they're driving down the car and she says, is this now?
Right.
She has a hard time of placing herself in the world of time. Like, is this happening now? Am I dreaming? All that stuff. So
yeah, she's been drugged up for most of her
Years.
life. So
Yeah.
there was one interesting thing that it took me out of the movie, but it didn't hurt the movie for me. It was an interesting thing that happened. Colin Farrell at one point, after Tom Cruise flushes himself and Agatha down the big toilet, he says, Colin Farrell's like, how much
which we
time
can
do
only
have?
assume they've been pissing in for years.
Exactly. Right?
Ew.
Or at least that the caretaker guy has done things. He's done things. He has. He's fucking creepy.
He seems a little creepy, yeah.
He was.
He needs to get help more. But no, Colin Farrell turns to Neil McDonough and he says, how much time do we have left? And he says, we have 51 minutes and 30 seconds before he kills Crow. And I paused it. I was like,
So did I.
So I paused it. It's like 2 minutes off.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, I was like, man, it's really close, but yeah, it's like 2 minutes off.
How much time we got, Gordon? We've got 51 minutes, 30 seconds.
So I'm like, how cool would that be if it's literally that was the time?
The time code
till the end of the movie. Yeah,
Yeah, I did the same thing, but I didn't time it from there. So it's interesting to know, because I felt like it was correct, like it was 51 minutes.
It was damn near correct. I was very but like, let's put it this way, I paused it because then there was like 57 minutes left, and I'm like, okay, I could see where it would have 7 minutes of credits,
Right.
right, but there's only like 5 minutes of credit, 5 minutes and change
Gotcha.
of credits left. I did like the balloon bit. I like that whole scene where Agatha is
in the mall,
where they're running through the mall. Yeah, and she sees everything. She knows what's going to happen. And that whole balloon bit was pretty cool. I remember the first time I watched the movie, I was pretty impressed by that. Wait.
Again, the screaming gets fucking old after a while. I understand. I understand, and yet it just gets very frustrating.
I'm with you, Eddie. It's a little overboard to me.
It's a little creepy too,
There was so much love in this house.
This house is now clean.
Yeah, this house is clean.
Clean of life. It's now dead.
No, I do really enjoy the cinematography in this movie.
Ugh. Well, the cinematography, yes. The
camera
lighting,
work, but I
not so
don't
much.
like they decided to do that typical bleach bypass that was like
Yeah.
popular and ever since Saving Private Ryan, which was the same
Mhm.
team, right?
Right.
Who kind of created that. So they did the same thing here, which I'm not a huge fan of that. But the
Mm-mm.
camera work specifically is what I mean, and the lighting and stuff. I do appreciate all that. It feels very, all the futuristic stuff feels very cold and I don't know.
There's no life in it.
Yes,
It's all machines. It's all
Stark.
like
Yes.
yeah, like everything. There's no humans building cars. It's all machines. There's one thing I did have an issue with was Colin Farrell with the whole hologram thing. Who taught him how to do that?
I guess
Well,
he
he's
learned.
been learning because he's like internal affairs, man.
No, is that what it was?
Yeah. He was like,
You put on the gloves and
It's like
you just know.
I would like to have seen a tutorial. It's like move your hand to the left.
A whole 10-minute scene of him reading manual.
And he has to do a beginner's tutorial.
Jesus.
A beginning tutorial. Like how the hell do you work this thing? It's like, hello, new user. Please enter a username.
Zoom in.
Like,
Him tapping.
and
Then just get disgusted with it.
That's like when the
And then
damn computer
autocorrect
gets shut
comes
down,
in.
though.
Damn it.
You want to hear like dun 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 dun. It's like an XP intro sound.
yeah.
Windows XP. Oh shit! Blue screen.
Oh, updates already?
Yeah, exactly.
Alt
2.5
F4.
hours of the fucking computer system updating. Now we can start the movie. Anyway,
I mean,
Jesus.
I thought it was pretty interesting because he just was a master of it.
Well,
It
I mean,
was just
yeah.
as good as Tom Cruise, But Tom Cruise is like it when it comes
Who's
to
been doing it for 6 years?
figuring it out.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of. I mean, I wouldn't say it was necessarily like a plot hole, but I think it was a little bit of like they were trying to show that he was just as good. Like if there's one guy who's going to be able to catch Tom Cruise, he's got to be just as good as Tom Cruise, or else how the fuck are they ever going to catch him?
Yeah,
Right.
And
So they had to
they do have intelligent conversations. I mean, like when they first meet, I appreciate the fact that when they first meet, it's not like a who's his bigger contest. It's actually an intelligent, philosophical conversation.
The precogs declare a victim and a killer. Their name is embedded in the grain of wood. Since each piece is unique, the shape and grain is unique. The shape and grain is impossible to forge.
I'm sure you all understand the legalistic drawback to pre-crime methodology.
Here we go again.
Look, I'm not with the ACLU on this, Jeff. But let's not kid ourselves. We are arresting individuals who have broken no law.
But they will. The commission of the crime itself is absolute metaphysics. The precogs see the future, and they're never wrong.
But it's not the future if you stop it. Isn't that a fundamental paradox?
I do like Colin Farrell's character is, it's a red herring for the actual villain, right? This whole time you're thinking that Colin Farrell came in and he, sabotaged this whole system to basically prove a point that it's fallible,
Right.
which you find out later towards the end, obviously, spoiler alert, Colin Farrell dies. That's
In the most anticlimactic way possible.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He just stares and falls down.
I mean, the camera shot of when he falls down in between Sydow's legs and the coat like covers over his head as you hear the gunshot go off. It's cinematic.
That was a good shot.
That's Spielberg, That's awesome. But I mean, it's interesting. Like they took this concept and they have to explain it to the lowest common denominator, right? Of what's going on. So I love the idea of when Tom Cruise takes that one of the precog balls and rolls it across the desk.
You're talking about predetermination, which happens all the time. Why'd you catch that?
Because it was going to fall.
You're certain?
Yeah.
But it didn't fall. You caught it. The fact that you prevented it from happening doesn't change the fact that it was going to happen.
Kind of reminded me of Tenet in a way, in that same writing, anyways, of saying, oh well, it's already happened. You've already shot in the wall or something, and it's kind of dummied down a little bit on this movie, but just because there's not that much sci-fi going on.
Yeah.
Well, I imagine that people probably didn't think we could handle it either in 2002.
Yeah, they're like, I'm already like, give me a self-driving car type thing. That's all I want.
Well, remember Matrix came out 98?
99.
99.
Yeah.
So a few years ahead of this. So this was tacking on to the whole future dystopian.
Which the CGI was really good, I think.
Yeah, I think the CGI holds up pretty well. I mean, there's obviously some shots that you go, okay, that's obviously green screen,
Yeah.
But
I like how they use the spiders.
Mechanical
were really
spiders
good.
look.
I
think they
them.
look kind of cartoonish.
Oh,
They're
really?
good, but they're not like great. You know what I'm saying? Like
They kind of remind me of World of Worlds, the remake.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Which was
of. It's
Spielberg.
like-
So I have a
which was
feeling he
Spielberg, too,
kind
yeah.
of brought the same idea over to the tripods or whatever they're called in War of the Worlds.
Also
and
Tom
why
Cruise.
didn't Tom Cruise go blind?
Reasons.
Yeah, reasons.
He still had like
The-
6 hours left.
The movie would fail with a blind protagonist for the rest of the movie.
See, Kyle, the ice water cooled the pupil down and the iris down enough to where
There
you
you go.
could expose it to the light, and it would be perfectly
Alright.
fine because those two
Much-
things always coincide: temperature and light.
Much like the discovery of penicillin, it was actually the moldy sandwich that allowed
yeah, exactly.
that sandwich that part with the sandwich is just fucking mean. Like if you think about it, the nurse or the doctor, one of them opened that refrigerator, saw that shit, and made the exact same thing but fresh, and then put them on there and went, let karma decide which of these fucking things you eat. Like that's just
Hey, maybe that was Stormare's retribution because you remember Tom Cruise arrested him, put him away in jail.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm just saying it's some Two-Face shit.
It's kind of telling too of okay, there's so many of those milk bottles and sandwiches in there. Like this is like a normal day for him. They just like, I'm out. See ya.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care about you anymore. I'm done.
Sure.
Yeah, I did like the cinematography in that scene when the spiders were coming in, because like the camera was going from apartment to apartment from above.
That's a very
that was really cool.
Yeah.
It's like the robots or the little spiders were not, they were interrupting daily life, but like when people were fighting or something like that, they're like, okay, let me get scanned. Now let me, you son of a bitch, they just kept going back at it. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I did
back
like
to
the
John's-
cinematography. I did like the cinematography in the first fight scene. I guess you call it.
Is that the
first
one
fight
in
scene, I think it
the
is.
Lexus factory?
It's the one in the alley.
Oh, okay.
It's the one in the alley where he's surrounded by where Tom Cruise is
yeah.
surrounded by his coworkers.
Mhm.
Where the camera goes up through the fire escape.
Oh,
as he's escaping, which I think was pretty creative.
Mhm.
I
I was also
that's awesome.
screaming at Tom Cruise. I'm like, why are you going to climb a ladder when these guys got jetpacks?
So he can jump on the guy with the jetpack and ride it down. I mean, come on,
Yeah, okay.
Kyle.
Yeah, you had to get
I
from
could have
A to
sworn
B.
Why do you go upstairs in a firehouse to go down the pole? I mean,
I guess
That's the only reason.
it's the only reason.
I always go up the fireball.
I mean,
Um,
I'm a heavy guy. We're going up those stairs. There has to be a payoff at the end of it.
There has to be a ride.
There has to be something.
So with all that CGI and everything and the set design, it cost them $102 million to make this film.
In 2002
Jesus.
money.
Yeah, that's a little steep, but the payout, gross worldwide, $358 million.
I believe it.
So yeah, they definitely made their
Yeah.
money back. Spielberg's raking in the cash on that one.
Well, they signed the right actors. I mean,
Yeah.
Tom Cruise is, especially even then. I mean, he was hot on the Mission Impossible money,
Mhm.
or Mission Impossible craze, I should say. So I mean, he was pretty much a guaranteed blockbuster guy at the time. And then Colin Farrell was pretty hot at the time, and Max von Sydow's got 70 years of acting under his belt or some nonsense. I mean,
Yeah, he was
not exactly gonna shit the bed either. So
Not a lightweight.
no. They definitely called in some heavy guns for it. So
Mhm.
pun intended. Talking about that shot, by the way, real quick, over the doctor's building and all the people getting scanned and stuff. I think that goes back to what John was saying about the world feeling lived in, like where Kyle, you're pointing out like them fighting and then stopping mid-fight to be scanned and then continuing to fight. Like this dystopia, the way that it's set up, they're completely used to like, okay, shit's gonna happen. We're gonna be invaded by, oh, look at these mechanical spiders, and it just is. It's just a normal day. It's just Tuesday. You know what I mean? So I like that aspect. I liked I don't know. I like the way that things seem fairly normal in their world without being so outlandish that it couldn't necessarily happen. I mean, the spiders thing is a little bit far fetched. Obviously, I don't see doctors carving out eyes anytime soon, but the attack force or the what's the word, like the crisis force, the way that they have it set up with rappelling down from line, that's not unheard of. The jetpacks, yeah, obviously aren't real normal, but the rappelling down from helicopters is totally normal.
Well, and I like the way they came out of the ship too. Like
Yeah.
there was only the one shot of the craft landing, and then everybody just like it was rotating chairs, and they jumped off when the chairs got to the ground. I was like, damn, that's really cool.
Kind of reminded me of Soren. Disney.
Yeah, it's the opposite effect of Soren. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
All right, well, let's get to rating this, and since this is my movie, I have to go first.
Yes.
So I enjoy this movie. I think it's kind of a fun watch. It's been a long time since I've seen it, so I kind of just wanted to check in again, see how it held up after 20 years. Plus, to get Tom Cruise like into our Rolodex here at Screen Riot. So,
gosh, it has been 20 years since this movie came out.
Wow, pun intended. Mission accomplished.
Wow.
Instead of mission impossible, I guess. Anyway, so
my jokes are bad.
I know.
No, John, you're off the hook on that one. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I do really enjoy the cinematography in this. I don't like the bleach bypass they do in this. I think it works well in like Saving Private Ryan, but not this. It's a little bit overdone. I think Spielberg gets a little bit in his own way in this. Like, there's a lot of Spielberg jokes that just feel out of place. Like when, not to drone on, but when Tom Cruise goes, he just has his eyes replaced. He goes to use them at the retina scan first, and he drops them, and he has the little chase down the hallway with him. Like, come on, just move on.
The Benny Hill scene.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm gonna give. I think I'm gonna give Minority Report. I think it's a decent movie. I'm gonna give it a 7.
Right.
So, Eddie.
Yep. So, I don't hate this movie by any means. I mean, it's not fantastic. Samantha Morton is one of my least favorite actresses ever. And in this movie, she's even doubly, annoying because she just screams most of her lines, and I don't know. I just can't deal with it. That being said,
Don't watch her in Walking Dead.
She's in Walking Dead. You're ruining it for me, John. Okay, I haven't seen the latest season.
Oh, she is. She's annoying.
She's not in the latest season. It's like 3 seasons ago.
That's why I stopped.
I haven't seen those. I haven't seen those either, John. Anyway,
or 2019, 2020. Yeah.
Anyway, so the I don't know. The movie's. I mean, it's good. It's just it's early 2000s kind of science fiction. It's nothing fantastic, but at the same time, if you want to watch a decent movie that's got Tom Cruise in it, it's not one that I would be like, oh God, why? Like it's worth watching. So for me, I would say it's a 5.9.
Okay, a 5.9 for Eddie. John, or sorry, Kyle. I mean,
yeah. So I think this was the maybe 3rd time I've seen this movie. The second time watching this it's got to be at least a decade. So I'm really glad that you picked this movie because I was actually curious on mainly the CGI and how CGI in sci-fi movies hold up. And I think it did a good job. And the lighting the bleach pass was really bad. It's like it bloomed everything, like just the smallest light. It was like, okay, this is really, really bright. Why are we doing this? I don't understand. This is the future, and future is supposed to be bright, but not this bright. I think I'm going to give this movie probably a 7.2.
Okay, 7.2 for Kyle. John?
I think this is a movie that everybody should see at least once. The story holds up for me after 20 years. I think it's something that was pretty original at the time, and I don't think anything. If any movie comes close to to the originality of that. It's more like an emulation of it. I like the intellectual aspect of the film. It actually makes you don't necessarily walk away from the film thinking about the film. You could also walk away from the film thinking about, okay, could this world, could we live in this world? Is the legalities of this world possible?
Yeah, with
That
Precrime.
kind of thing. More existential thinking. Looking at its flaws, I do think this we didn't get to this in the show, but I think the tip in to me typical Spielberg fashion, the last 30 minutes of the film feels a little disjointed to me. The soundtrack, nothing of note, but there's nothing wrong with it.
It's John Williams.
Yeah, I mean there wasn't anything wrong with it, but it wasn't like amazing.
Yeah.
It did feel a little long to me after the first ending. So I mean maybe they could have cut 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes out of it. I don't know where they would do that, but I mean I would have liked it to be a little bit shorter. But I'm with Justin. I'm going to give this a 7.
Okay, a 7 for John. So then that means that Minority Report gets a 6.8.
Dang, should have done a 6 or a 7.3.
Get a 6.9. So, John, we need to see what genre we're going to be picking from.
John's going to be picking from.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, this is it.
Oh, all right,
here we go. Western's still on the wheel.
It sure is. All right, here we go.
Ooh.
No.
It's not me. It's not
Eddie's favorite.
I quit.
Finally,
every
it's not
season.
me.
Every season I quit
Yes,
when we get to this.
That's how the show works. It will hit every season.
Okay, so film noir. I'm going to pick Out of the Past from 1947. It's with Robert Mitchum, Jan Greer, and Kirk Douglas. Directed by Jacques Tournier. A private eye escapes his past to run a gas station in a small town, but his past catches up with him. Now he must return to the big city world of danger, corruption, double crosses, and duplicitous dames.
Hell yeah.
Duplicitous dames, Eddie. You hear that?
It's got Robert Mitchum, man. This guy's awesome.
Exactly.
He has one hell of a smolder.
So, thanks for watching this episode of Screen Riot. Make sure you hit the like button if you enjoyed the content, and spread the word, share the stuff with people. We don't care. In fact, we want you to. So make sure you go to justwatch.com. You can look up Out of the Past from 1947 and see all the places that it's playing. And we will be reviewing that movie. Same YouTube channel, same podcast channel stuff. Same time, same bat time. Next Saturday. So we'll see you then.
All right, see you.
See you.